Here's the truth. Most agents don't actually want big results. They say they do, they talk about it, they know what they need to do or what they are told to do, but they aren't willing to actually change enough to get different results. I was there. I'm actually talking about myself. I said I wanted it, but I wasn't willing to do what it actually took. Meaning, I wanted a referral based business, but I wasn't willing to pause, stop chasing cold leads, and actually create it. That didn't mean I didn't work hard. That didn't mean I didn't do a ton of prospecting. It just meant that I didn't do or wasn't willing at that time to do what it took to create a different type of business. I have students right now having their very best quarter ever, and they've been in the industry for over a decade. And then on the other hand, I'm talking to agents who have been trying for 10 plus years to actually even hit their goals. So what's the difference? Because it's definitely not intelligence, it's not the market, and it's definitely not luck. They attend the same meetings, they talk to the same circle, they complain about the same problems, they plan, but maybe don't execute the right way. They jump brokerage to brokerage, thinking the brokerage is what's going to actually make them successful. It's not. Instead of actually changing the plan. If you keep doing what you've always done, you will keep getting what you've always gotten. We've all heard that, right? I've told myself this so many times. If I want different results, I have to do something completely different than I've always done. So let's be honest. What have you actually changed in the last 12 months? Like dramatically changed? Because look at it, like if we are making $60,000 a year and we want to make $200,000 a year, we have to make some really big changes. Or let's say you're making $250 a year, but you want to make $500 a year. Or you're making $500 and you want to make $800. Here's what I can tell you right now. The agent, when I was making $280 versus when I made $860 in a year, I had to become a completely different agent. My days were completely different. I had to change in order to get to this next level. I had to change everything in order to do that. I learned this a really, really hard way. From day one in the business, I believed in hiring a coach. That was like a no-brainer to me. That just makes sense. If I can shave off time, if I cannot reinvent the wheel, like sign me up. That makes sense to me. But I still made so many mistakes. I hired coaches who never actually sold real estate, which is, looking back on that, I am like, what was I thinking? Coaching companies built on theory. So they actually had never done it, or they did it maybe for 1 or 2 years and had a good year or two. I'm sorry, but if you have not been in the trenches year after year after year, decade after decade, you learn something along the way. And for anyone who's been in the business for a decade plus, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There is no way to learn this without experiencing it. There's just not. Or I followed people who didn't have like the life I wanted. Maybe they were making a ton of money, but they were a horrible wife or a horrible husband, or they'd been divorced so many times, or they never spent any time with their kids. I'm sorry, but that's not the life that I want. I wanted to earn a lot of money and still be a great mom, still be a great wife, and have a great marriage and have friendships and have hobbies. You can do both. So if you're following a coach that actually has no life, but they're making a ton of money, they're probably working too many hours. So that's not going to work either. Or their systems are not going to let you leverage in order to build that wealth without sacrificing your entire life. So again, the mistakes I made is hiring coaches who had never actually sold real estate. Huge, huge mistake. Or coaching companies built on theory. Or people who had maybe 1 or 2 good years. Or coaches who didn't actually have the life or the standards that I actually wanted. So why was I taking advice from someone who had never built what I actually wanted to build? So this is what I continue to tell myself. Don't take directions from someone who hasn't been where you want to go. Today, I only follow people who earn what I want to earn, have the balance that I want, have done it for a decade or more, or have built something sustainable. So all of those things have to align. You don't get there faster by working more hours. I tried that, I promise. I know I've said this before. My first 10 years in the business, my coaches would tell me, if you're at 250 and you want to get to that 500K, you have to double your contacts. That was the strategy, seriously. Do you realize how many contacts, if I have a cold business, and I did at that time, do you know how many contacts I was already making to get to 250? In order to get to 500K, I just had to double my contacts. That is horrible advice. No, that's not a system or a business plan. You get there faster by following a proven system. This is what I remember just telling my coaches all the time. I wanted to get there the right way and build correctly so my business would get easier the longer I'm in it. Cold businesses do not do that for you. I wanted to shorten the learning curve. I wanted an actual business, not a job. I wanted just someone to tell me the actual truth on how to get there and actually have the knowledge and the wisdom and the experience that they've done it before. So how much time I wasted so much time trying to figure it out alone. That's really more of a question for you. How much time have you wasted trying to figure it out alone? Or by following the wrong people? That was me. So here's the truth. Most agents won't do what is actually required. For example, so if we have the pain that it's going to take to get us there, that is first world problems, right? The pain meaning putting in the time, working smarter, putting in the energy, having the energy on a daily basis, waking up early, following the plan, calling when you don't feel like it, following a system, actually sending videos consistently, having a plan that you follow, the mailers, the calls, the coffees, working out, changing our actual habits. So those who are willing to actually endure that pain will get the rewards, right? The people willing to endure more short-term pain get long-term pleasure. So they get the long-term pleasure of the new house, savings, freedom, those big awards, the vacations, the health, right? If we go and exercise all the time and we are eating what we should be eating, we're going to get the health and the energy we deserve. But also the security, the financial security. The truth is most people are willing to endure some discomfort and pain. So they will receive some income and some pleasure. But in turn, it will keep us staying average, financial stress, inconsistency, anxiety, always almost hitting our goals, right? I lived that for a long time. Those who only endure a little bit of discomfort live in permanent mediocrity. You're just mediocre, you're average. It keeps us in our comfort zone, right? If we're willing to endure a little bit of pain, and again, I'm talking about first world pain. So a little bit of pain, then we're just going to stay in our comfort zone for life and we're going to get a mediocre life, right? That's called staying in our comfort zone. But those who are willing to endure more pain, take on more action, are going to get more pleasure in life. Who are the 5 agents? This is a question for you. Who are the 5 agents you spend the most time around? Are they winning? Are they disciplined? Do they invest? Do they execute? Or do they gossip and complain? Your income is the average of the expectations around you. So it's really, really important that you're in an environment, and I'm not really just talking about a brokerage, but the program, the coaching program that you're in, who are you surrounding yourself with? Are they agents, obviously, that have invested in themselves? They're trying to win at a high level. They're serious about winning at a high level. If your circle doesn't challenge you, it's keeping you small, right? We've all heard this. This is the same thing in our personal life as well as it is in our business life. In my personal life as well as my business life, I had to change my circles. I had to upgrade my circle. I had to get in coaching programs that would push me beyond what I thought was even capable. Because if I keep surrounding myself with those who are just living an average life, that's the life I'm actually going to have, right? So if this is hitting you at any level or just anything resonated with you, comment below. I'm done playing small. Are you actually willing to change? Or do you just like the idea of change? If you are actually serious about building a predictable, scalable real estate business, and you are actually ready to truly change, I'm taking on a few more agents, but only the agents that are actually willing to endure more than what the average are. So if that's you, click below, book a call with me today. Let me see if you're a good fit. And of course, give me a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.